Ramos here, Recovery House of Worship. This is a commercial. I want to invite you to reschedule your evening, change your plans. I want you to attend on Zoom today, 5 p.m. Eastern, live at 5, the Recovery House of Worship Sunday evening service on Zoom. I put in the title, Uncover the Secret Sauce to Success. We're talking about a very important topic that is one of the most vital ingredients to being successful. All right. It's discipline, self-control, being able to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, especially when you don't want to do it. Okay. So without discipline, people do not experience success. They allow distractions to defeat them, apathy, no passion to keep them stuck. There's something called procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Not now. So I want to talk to you about the secret sauce of success, discipline. I'm in a discipleship series, and I'm going to be talking about discipleship, but specifically and particularly, disciples are disciplined ones. You can't say that you're disciplined. You got to demonstrate discipline. Discipline is not about talking, it's about walking. And we're going to talk about what, think about that. Why do some people have it, discipline, and others seem to miss it, right? Why is it that in some areas of my life, the discipline is on point, but in other areas, I'm not struggling, I'm suffering? Why is that? That some people, there's some areas of our lives that we can demonstrate and implement extreme amounts of discipline, and then in other areas, it's like we get dragged. I want to talk about some of this, and so I want to share with you some things about discipline. I explain to the people in my life, like, the mature believers, the people who are serious about recovery. This is the Recovery House of Worship. So we have two components, recovery and our relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And so I explain to people that somewhere out there, whether you understand it or not, you have an enemy. Now we have the devil, the demons, the spiritual forces that come against us, that attack our mind, attack our body, attack our families. There's a real spiritual battle that happens. And the enemy, think about like if he was preparing for war, right? My nephew, Tito, he has a Purple Heart. He was in the Marines and he was in combat and he got injured in combat. But he was preparing for battle. He was preparing for war. And he knew that somewhere on the other side of the world or some part of the world, that there's an enemy that he would have to face one day that's preparing also. And I'm reminded by some book that I read when I'm thinking about this, about my nephew and preparing and boot camp and training. So as a Christian, I know that the enemy, the devil, is like a roaring lion. That the devil is strategizing. He has schemes against me, right? There's a plot. And I need to prepare. I need to train. I need to get ready for the battle that's ahead of me. Because maybe later on today, maybe next week, maybe next month, the enemy is going to come. Life is going to hit me. Things are going to happen. I need to be ready. I need to be guarded for the unguarded moment. I want to prepare for the storm so I can survive the storm, thrive in the storm, ride the storm, have faith in the midst of the storm. But it's what I do today that's going to determine if I fold or if I get through that storm. But a storm is coming. My friend Ross, wonderful man of God in recovery, he always says, did you hear the weather report? Did you see the weatherman? He said there's a storm coming. And so we're going to talk about discipline and preparing for battle, spiritual battle, everything that is the exact nature, the exact nature is spiritual. The warfare, the battle, the thoughts that come to our minds, the things that it begins in the spiritual realm and it manifests itself in the physical realm. But in the spiritual battle, it's in our minds. Right. And so we want to talk about discipline and what that looks like. What is the, self-control? What does that really mean? If you ask most I was talking to one of my coaches about the topic discipline, and he says it's internal fortitude. It's come from discipline, comes from within, and that's true. It's got to come from within. But before it's within me, how is it birthed inside of me? Is it a decision I make? Do I just make a commitment and then do it? Is it that simple to just say, okay, I'm not going to eat for 18 hours and not eat? Okay, I'm not going to drink anymore and not drink. I'm not going to eat sugar no more. I'm not going to, like, is it that simple where you put it on paper, you make a decision, you make a commitment, and that's it? Because that's not been my experience. I'm in recovery, and many of you in recovery. And we've made many, many meaningless decisions. Whereas I made a decision, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, and that was 10 years ago. Thank God, finally got it together, and we lost many pounds, right? Finally, by the grace of God and the help of God. But my point is that how do we make a decision and stick to it? How do we say, I want to get a bachelor's degree, and today I make a decision to get a bachelor's degree, and then in 2 years, or I got it, and then in 4 years I'm walking the stage, or whatever it might be. I make a decision that I'm only gonna eat 1,600 calories today, and then at the end of the day accomplish that. Or I'm not going to settle for lust when I want love. I'm not going to settle for sex when I want love. I'm not going to just anybody come into my circle. I'm going to guard my heart. We want to talk about discipline. It's going to be very powerful, very practical, powerful and practical. We want to see people's lives transform. So today at 5 p.m., it's 12:02 p.m. Eastern. In 5 hours, I'm going to be live on Zoom. The Zoom link and the Zoom ID is in the description of the video on Facebook. It's also on YouTube. It's in different groups. I encourage you even to tell yourself every Sunday at 4:45 p.m. Clear yourself, clear your schedule, put on, get your mind right, prepare every Sunday from 5 to 6, 1 hour to feed your spirit, 1 hour to feed your soul, 1 hour to connect with God, to get information that's powerful and practical. I made a decision 28 years ago that I was going to give God 2 hours every Sunday of my life, maybe 3 hours because I had to travel to church and get back, and I've been doing that. I made a decision. I made a commitment. I took the necessary steps so that can be a reality. It wasn't a meaningless decision. I took concrete action steps so that can be a reality. And the results have been absolutely extraordinary. And when you're able, and I'm able to establish a goal, to understand the steps that it takes to reach that goal, and then make a commitment to the strategy of doing. Discipline is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, especially when I don't want to do it. Setting aside instant gratification, delaying gratification, which is for some of us, it's unthinkable. And being able to look at the results that I'm looking to achieve. I want to experience. I want to be under 200 pounds, right? That's a goal of mine. I was 266 pounds 6 months ago. That was my bottom. That's when I started saying, listen, what's going on here? I have a lot of experience with hitting bottoms. And so now I'm under 200, I'm 215 pounds. By the grace of God, I've been able to stick to some action steps. I found out what can help me achieve this goal. What can I do to achieve this goal? What needs to be done? What needs to be removed from my life? What needs to get removed from my refrigerator? What needs to be removed from my house? What people, places I need to stay away from if I'm going to achieve this goal? And then every day, do something that was going to get me closer to that goal. Do something. And so I want to encourage you, man, that at 5 p.m. on Sundays, especially today, as we begin our discussion on discipline, I don't care what you believe, what you don't believe, if you're in recovery or if you're a Christian, right? This is for people who are in recovery, 12-step fellowships, all my people out there, people who are Christian, I don't care what church, what denomination. I want to encourage you to show up Sundays at 5 p.m. for the next 4 weeks and just be blessed. We're talking about maturity, growing, elevating, ascending, going to the next level, not staying stuck where we at, but knowing that if you're alive and you survive what we survived, it's for a purpose. 5 p.m. on Zoom, from your phone, from wherever you're at. But if you're serious and you want to grow mature, man, I got my desk here. I get myself to get at 4:30. I get here, and right now I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, wow, man, this is interesting stuff. I look at my life and how many times I failed and I messed up. And that's how you gain wisdom, by the way. That one of the ways to gain wisdom is by making mistakes, unfortunately, and learning from those mistakes. Now you've acquired wisdom. You know what doesn't work. You know what happened. You know how that felt. It was a great idea. It was a great philosophy, great concept. But why didn't it work? And so every Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm here like I am now, just trying to share practical, powerful, relevant, biblical, Christ-centered, biblical principled information that if you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and we talk about what that looks like, religion, not so much, but a relationship with Jesus Christ. You can be very religious and lack power. You can be very religious and be unhappy. You can be very religious and have no peace. You can be very religious and be miserable. You can be very religious and not have love. And for those who don't know, the scriptures say very clearly that God is love. If you have God, you have love. If you don't have love, you don't have God. You might have religion. And so every Sunday, 5 p.m., we're here. I'm excited about these next couple of weeks, especially these next 2 weeks on discipline. Because if you can understand, if you can capture this concept of discipline, if you can implement the principle of discipline in your life, if you can let go of what needs to be let go, to be abandoned, and if you can grab a hold of what needs to be, received in your life, then you can live a victorious, abundant, you can be more than a conqueror. No weapon that's formed against you shall prosper. You can win. You can live like a champion, even though life sucks sometimes, because you can't control life. I can't control if it rains today, if it snows today. Somebody offered me tickets to go to the Mets. I can't control the weather, but I can control my response. I can control if I choose to react or not. I can choose my perspective. And discipline is the secret sauce to success. And so we're going to be talking about that today at 5 and next week and so forth. I encourage you. If you're someone who, like me, I want to climb mountains. I want to experience different levels of success. I want to impact many lives all over the world. I want to read. I have financial goals. I have a kingdom economy. I want to reach certain goals financially. I have certain. You guys understand? If you're a climber, I'm a climber. You've heard me say this. There's climbers, there's campers, and there's quitters. I'm a climber. If you're a climber, if you have goals, if you know that you're created for greatness, if you know that God has called you for something wonderful, if you're involved in ministry, if you're involved in impacting lives, if you have children and a family, that I encourage you for the next 4 weeks, 5 p.m. on Zoom. It can be more convenient. Hang out with us for 1 hour. After I'm done speaking, preaching at 5, we have questions and answers and sharing. We call it sermon discussion because we like to share and ask questions and what I got out the sermon and what I didn't understand and I need clarity on this and what about, so we have an hour together of teaching, and then we have half an hour for those who want to stay for sermon discussion. I encourage you, 5 p.m. Sundays, show up to grow up. This 1 hour, give yourself 90 minutes. Sit down, get your mind clear, get prepared, take notes, and allow God to download from heaven a word. Allow God to fill you with his spirit. Allow God to speak to you. It's a form of meditation, sitting down and listening. You guys understand? My 15 minutes is going to be a 15-minute commercial. 5 p.m. every Sunday, Recovery House of Worship. If you're in recovery, any type of recovery, if you've been impacted by addiction, if you have a son, a loved one if you're an adult child of alcoholic, adult child of dysfunctional home, if you've been impacted in any way, shape, or form by addiction, alcoholism, Sundays at 5 p.m. The Recovery House Worship is for you. If you're a Christian and you want to grow and you want to mature and you want to be a disciple and you want to experience all the promises that are in the Word of God in your life, the next couple of weeks are going to be very powerful and practical. Love you guys. Pastor Raymond Ramos, Recovery House Worship. Real people with real problems.